guys. We're going to be playing a little bit of Verdansk. How do you say it? Verdansk? Doesn't really matter. But yeah, I was wanted to check out this video from Mountain 64. Verdansk has saved Warzone, which I don't know if it saved it, but it is very, very good. Like, they actually did like a really good job, and it's his first thoughts. And I figured I'll go through this video and kind of pause it and tell my give you your takes, my takes and everything, and we'll go from there. Yo, I appreciate that. From Ohio. Let's freaking go.
Now, my expectations were very low for this, but I just completed one of the longest live streams.
Dude, when Verdansk first came out, I was like, I'm gonna play it and then I'm gonna get off of it. I kind of had like that sour attitude towards it. Like, I was just gonna turn it off. Like, I was like, I'm gonna play a game and I'm gonna turn it off. But then I turned it on and it was actually pleasantly surprised to see
that I've ever
that
done.
It was actually good.
Essentially playing Warzone all day. I took 3 months off this game. Even before then, I was only playing this once, maybe twice a week, ever since Warzone 4's their integration with Black Ops 6, adding the omnidirectional movement. But I'm a dude who stuck with this game for a long time. Through a lot of ambitious changes. And
no, I'm not new to
change is really them going back, them reintroducing Verdansk, the classic map that came out in 2020 that brought so many people back to Call of Duty in the first place. The big question is, how have they executed on the map itself? This is essentially going back to the original map. It's 95% the same.
It's definitely the same.
There's a new spot.
I mean, there's a couple like different things that they added. It kind of looks like they did. Well, first of all, you can't mantle on certain things, which I don't know if that's a bug or if that was meant to do. Like, did they mean to not be able to mantle over certain walls? Because you can jump it, but you can't mantle it.
What I found at Dealer,
there's a lot of them.
South side of the map, you can go in the
water.
Water
Areas.
They added some new pieces of cover in some giant open areas, but in general, this map is just designed to be more open in the first place between the major POIs. It has very distinct POIs. If I'm talking about prison, superstore, airport, those draw spots in the major buildings.
That's what makes this this map so good. Because each POI, like where you are, and like in between each POI, you're not in. And there's no like little buildings. Because Kyrgyzstan, that's all it was just little buildings popped here. It just wasn't. It didn't flow right. You never felt like you were actually in a POI. You just kept moving and moving. It just did not play well at all. Like at all.
Didn't really have that.
I hated it.
Inner extend.
And we had that for a year and a half.
I've seen this unfold. It feels like Verdansk was designed with more multiplayer and player-on-player combat versus any of the other, especially big maps that have been created. A lot of those maps and areas on it were built for ground war for Modern Warfare 2019. The only exception to that being Blackout, which literally took multiplayer maps, 6v6 maps, and put them into that
That's
map.
BR that they made.
They didn't even have to really do any crazy execution with this map. They really didn't even need to change anything about it to have it be good. And the improvements that they did make to it, I think were fine. I didn't mind them. In fact, I think it's kind of nice to have at least a couple new areas that we can learn while also coming back to this game that for the most part, I already know the map for, so I can just learn some of the movement mechanics, the weapons, and some of the other aspects of the game. And I don't know if it was just my monitor, but the big thing they hyped up in some of the blog posts and marking
that took forever to kill him.
Changes, on top of course, the graphical improvements, which I do think are nice. Although in the footage that you're seeing and what I played was mostly lower end settings, trying to push frame rate, and I'll probably tweak with that a little bit over the next coming days. That being said, the lighting transitioning in and out of buildings, from what I had seen, was great. And even inside of those buildings,
even if you're like outside the building, before, if there was like an open door, open window, you could never see in. Now if you notice it, if you just go by it, just look, you can actually see inside the house, which is so key.
I was able to see into dark corners.
These are little things that like, if you don't realize how big they are, but as they add up and you keep adding to the game, why it will make the game good. But they just keep taking features away and not doing certain things, and I don't know. We'll see.
Appeared
Will they
dark.
take
Now,
all this back? I don't know.
monitor and some of
Because what's going to happen next year? Is everything going to blow up? We're supposed to get wall running. We're supposed to get all this stuff. And are they going to do that in this? I don't know. Like, I think that they should separate Warzone, and then if not, if anything, have these LTMs, limited time modes. So whatever's going on in the multiplayer, like if there's wall running, they bring a mode that's limited time over into BR and test it out. See if the community likes it. If not, maybe it ends up being a popular mode and we keep it. But they got to at least try stuff.
That I have on it, or
what
not,
I think they should do
compared to what I was running before. But what was newly introduced
what
from
do I
the
know?
most recent big update was Black Ops 6 and the omnidirectional movement.
Addict
They've
fights.
diverted Warzone away from Black Ops 6, so they're no longer the exact same movement mechanics between the games. Now you move slightly slower for tactical sprint speed, amongst a couple other changes. The way they worded this in the notes, I thought it was going to be a lot slower even than what it turned out to be. And maybe I'm biased because I've already put hundreds of hours into the omnidirectional movement system that I've gotten used to it.
The thing about the Omni movement, I don't really care much for it. But I don't really care that's in the game. So, like, if they take it away, I don't care. If they keep it, I don't care. It's not really... I don't know.
And learn some of the quirks.
Really, just
train
not
my
a big
muscle
deal to
memory
me.
to know how to avoid diving by accident. When I'm
Yeah,
just trying to
I
go
do that a lot.
prone and do a drop shot.
I dive a
Since now you
lot.
can dive sideways or backwards. But I do like this movement system as a whole. Being able to dive
shout
in
out
any
to your mom,
direction,
Juice. Let's
slide
go.
in any direction. How fast and easy it is
Shout out to
cancel
Mama
onto
Juice.
Pretty much everything has opened up new window routes
Shout
on
out to
buildings
Mama
in
Juice.
parkour that just feels way more fluid. It is an extra hurdle to learn. But again, since we already know the map for the most part, at least most people that are probably playing this and watching Steven, it kind of just lets you focus on mastering that movement, which I like. I do feel like it probably could even be slowed down a bit.
I even think if they could just dial it back just a little bit, I think that would be okay. I'm down with that.
More. Maybe they can add more settings to make it more fluid. But honestly, I'm really just more concerned for what's going to happen at the end of this year. When the next Call of Duty comes out, they add
the thing about the Omni movement, Sneaky, is like, I get it. Like, I'm on both sides. Like, I understand why people don't like it, and I understand why people like it. So that's why I'm like, kind of like, me personally do not care if they take it out or keep it. But honestly, I think maybe taking it out might be good. If they start adding wall running and all that, now we got Omni movement and sliding left and right and running on walls. That could get a little crazy.
Inevitably, wall running, jetpacks.
There it is.
We merge it all back together. It's all going to go. It's all
Kaboosh!
blowing up again.
All of a sudden, we're wall running and we're doing this. We're doing freaking front flips.
Build this into its own
Because you know that. You know Call of Duty. Like, Call of Duty will do this. Like, next Warzone, we're freaking jetpacking to the moon, bro. Like, I'm dead serious. We're jetpacking, and dude, you can only get your load up in the freaking space. Dude, I'm telling you, man, they will do that type of stuff, man.
Without constantly trying to have to slam this content.
Oh, we slowed it down too much? Nope. We'll send you to the moon.
With Urzikstan, they're trying to build this map for zombies.
Send you to the moon. We'll send you to space with the Fast and Furious cast.
And also trying to develop it for Battle Royale. I feel like that doesn't create the same product of what we've got now back with this map. And I hope they don't remove it again. Or even reset all our cosmetics again. Reset all the weapons again. I feel like that is just around the corner. And to be clear,
that's why I won't buy anything. That's why I will not buy anything, because you know they're going to take all of it away. Because what's going to happen is now the next Warzone, they're going to be like, oh, we're separating the game and everything starts from zero. So I'm telling you, you suckers out there, all of you guys, freaking buying the black cell. Cut the shit, man.
In fact, I think the majority of people
Stop
out
putting
there
money in their pocket, man.
Still going to have a very negative opinion of Warzone and Call of Duty.
He's trying to shoot
game,
the bird.
Even with Verdansk coming out, and as much as I've enjoyed it, and I'm
He's
sure a
trying
lot
to
of
shoot
other
the
people have,
bird for.
because of them taking away all the cosmetics. How long it takes to grind and level up weapons. The fact there is no toggle for a milsim option for the game, which I saw a lot of people talking
Dude,
about.
you really think that they were going to do that?
With the Verdansk release? There's no way they're ever going to do that, everybody. They make all their money from selling the skins and forcing that down your throat. Unless they want to come out with an option that's a $15 a month, maybe more, subscription that allows you to have a milsim toggle so you don't have to see all the other skins. Because that's what's enticing you to go buy it. Or not you maybe, but other people to then spend so much money. Like, you're outweighed by the people that are going to spend the money on this stuff.
So
right?
true.
Like, it's not going to happen.
True.
But Call of Duty also just has so many players that have already quit the game, moved on. They're never going to come back in the first place. Okay, it is what it is. But I do feel like if you have been playing the game for the duration of it, this is a much better update in line with what this game was, and I think what a lot of people fell in love with in the first place of the game.
They lost their way. Like, they lost, like, how it was. Like, BR was not a battle royale anymore. It was a glorified resurgence. You had all the redeploys, the tokens, 16,000 jailbreaks a game. It's just how it was. They just got away from what it was. They thought Resurgence was like popped off, so like in their head was like, oh, they love Resurgence, so let's just make it so they can keep coming back. Woo!
Game than what they diverted away to.
Dummy. God, man, the people, like the executives over in Activision, they're just so stupid. They don't play their game. There's no way they play their own game. There's no way.
While still taking some of the wins that they've had over all these years. There have been quality of life improvements that they've put in that they have kept. And in this case, adding even more. The instantaneous buyback of teammates came in incredibly clutch today even. The fact you can just hit the buy station, hit R, and it'll instantaneously buy back all of your teammates, prioritizing the ones that have the most money is great. Even just having that vertical buy menu and the floating loop.
Keeping it vertical,
makes it
they
so
should
much
have
easier
never
to
went
see
horizontal.
It's highlighted properly, like, awesome. Now, we did have some loot still somehow get stuck under the map or inside of objects that we couldn't loot, but it was less than the floor loot system, and there's a couple other problems that we were running into I will still address. They also did revert some quality of life changes like the precision airstrike.
Nor should you. You should not buy the skins on this game. I'm serious. Let them just come out with their game and try to figure it out, and let's see what happens with the next integration with Warzone. Then we can kind of go from there, and I can slowly get back, and then I might pull out my wallet. I might.
Going up on the TAC map, showing exactly where it's going.
I used to buy, you know how much money I've spent on Call of Duty? Thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars. I've been working my whole life. I've been working since I've been 17 years old. I started playing what? Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. I was what, like 19, 20 years old? And I've been bought the DLCs. I bought everything they ever had, and then when they started having a store later on, I started buying all that stuff. They used to sell camos. I forget when they started that, but they used to be like $5, $10. I forget it was.
Gonna land is now gone.
Way back in the day.
But I think this is actually to a benefit of the casual player, which they've done multiple changes of. Removing redeploy drones, so you can't just pop an advanced UAV, redeploy, and just land on another team and immediately smack them.
Yeah, and remember, now the audio is good. Before, it was like non-existent. There was no audio, so if you came and jumped off and then came onto it, like jumped onto a whole nother squad, literally they would never hear a single sound.
Plan ahead, make proper rotations.
Continue to do that.
There's so many less plates in the game, way less economy.
Dude, Moody, it's great. Like right now, we're just interacting with this video right now, but like it's just more my first impressions. I'm telling you, Verdansk, Moody is so good, man. Like they brought it back, they reeled it back to where it was, and now they just gonna make a couple little bit of tweaks. Continue listening to the community. If they do that, this game is definitely gonna be good. But I'm scared. Wall running's coming next season, next year.
Have to.
They might add it in
get
and
multiple
screw it all up.
done. Use the bonus of doing multiple contracts to give you extra
$35
cash to really
too much.
Snowball the game.
You spent
which was
too much on COD.
Finally having that back again, it felt nice.
At least right now.
In terms of
before, it used to be okay, like you know what I mean. But then now COD just basically backstabs us every time. They fix the game, they break the game. They fix the game. Oh, look, we're gonna bring all these features back, and then us suckers keep coming back. I'm telling you, I'm done with that. I'm done with that.
Audio improvements. When Black Ops 6 Warzone came out, they just destroyed the audio. You couldn't hear footsteps at all. And I noticed this coming back after my 3-month break. Like, I was hearing footsteps again in fights. It wasn't 100%, but it was so much better. And even today, playing this map without dead silence already made this so much better of an experience to me than even Verdansk days. That was something I hated about Verdansk back in the day. Same thing with stopping
because remember,
power. You
stopping
find this
power,
item that
there
all
it
of a
is.
sudden just gives you
I
a
was
free
gonna
kill.
say, stopping
You
power
really
was in the game.
Can't counter it.
Just to find it.
One situation
So
where
stupid.
I threw a C4 and tried to just detonate it early with a double tap.
Got to think about that.
There was no audio and not even an explosion that happened for it. So audio's not perfect, but felt great to me. On top of not having to hear Graves every single time I'm getting into the plane.
Get this guy out of
Why
here.
I would ever want to hear this guy after playing the campaign as well. Why is he there every time I want to play this game? Glad he's gone. But speaking of
Get him
the
out.
contracts,
He was so
they
annoying.
cut out a ton of them, bringing it back to the OG system. We had the supply run contracts, which were phenomenal. Just something.
Everybody
quick
hated that
you can
guy,
get
dude.
done,
Like,
pick up the contract.
why'd they have a
go to
stupid
buy
guy
station,
greet me at a
complete.
freaking table before I went onto the plane? Like, whoever thought of that idea? And it was the same repetitive stuff. He said the same stuff. What? Like, who thought of this stuff? Like, who actually said this is a great idea in the meeting? Fire him. Get him out.
It instantly gives you one
Tell him to go to the break room, grab his lunch bag, and get the F out of this office.
free purchase on a fire sale. Fire sale also
Get 'em
giving
out!
you a free self-res again. I didn't notice
Seriously.
really too many public events that were happening during this. However, I think those
You're
were also
fired.
pretty rare
You're fired.
originally in Verdansk too. The fact that the Intel contracts are just going to a place and standing at a point.
Oh,
shoots the
remember
flare
these?
up,
Why
giving
did they
your
ever
position
take
away
this
is
out?
already enough
Why? Why do they take this stuff
for
out?
locking in to
Dude,
an
they're getting me all
animation was
fired up.
just
I gotta calm down.
terrible. And even before that, in Warzone 2, you'd have to go up into a tower
I'll calm down.
after retrieving another thing over here. You'd have to go to multiple checkpoints and go up and risk your life with the like. It was so difficult to even do it. The reward from the scavenger actually feels great. Getting those satchels, which are such an incredible priority in this game. Like, yeah, to me, these contracts have always been something that's made Warzone stand out, just like the Gulag, versus all the other battle royales. It gives you so much more to do in the mid game, and again with that snowball of continually increasing the rewards from each of the bounties and contracts that you do for each consecutive one, it just gets crazy. And even the Gulag, I don't really necessarily care that this is the original Gulag versus what we have now. I think they're both fine. Just better than having a 2v2 Gulag with a Juggernaut in the middle of
Hot
it.
take?
You know, we're back to just
I
a
like the
raw
2v2 Gulag. I actually liked it. Now, when they got rid of the jailer, they had the stupid AI jailer that had like a machine gun that would just start shooting you. Why they ever put that in the game was stupid. The 2v2, man, I don't care. I liked it.
battle of skill. More so now.
I know they would never bring
there's
it
only
back, but
one
I liked
Gulag
it.
that you get. At least I never found a Gulag token today. You can't buy them at buy stations, certainly, and it made the whole experience feel so much more like a proper battle royale. The final couple zones, most of them that we had today, there was no buy stations at the end. So most of the final fights were 2v2v1, or, you know, it wasn't all full stack, full squads, all rezzing. Everybody's just popping
Come on, run 'em over.
PDS
Squish.
systems in the gas. It's just battling, gun on gun, maybe some vehicles, kill
Gun
streaks,
on
but
gun
you're getting
action.
into end game fights again. Even making it to a top 20 situation felt so much more difficult today. One of the other big changes that they made was with vehicles. These are back to the older system. They brought the handling, turning controls more in line with that, and they definitely felt better. Although in that case, the audio for a lot of them was very bad. You could hear the wheels constantly spinning when you're trying to turn and accelerate. I don't know if that was just because I was on mouse and key and you can't control each of the levels of the speed like you can on a stick, but I also noticed the helicopter is not like it was in terms of
Dude, that thing
splattering
goes
people,
fast.
which I think
Goes
is kind of for the
real
better
fast.
as well. It's still very nimble and looks better than what the last helicopter was that they had just added. But this thing seemed to blow up, as all the vehicles did, more easily. At least 2 explosions, and in the case of the helicopter, just even tapping walls could break it. But I'd say we're back more on track with that. If you do like the vehicle play, and you're going to need to if you want
Yeah, you
to
wanna get to
survive
point
and
A.
make the rotations in this game, since you don't have the redeploys anymore. The big one today, though, was the weapons, and I was
Dude,
extremely
sniping is back in this game. Sniping feels so good. Probably the best it's ever felt, honestly, ever in Warzone. Except maybe from the beginning when it first came out. I actually think it might be better now.
doubtful,
I
just
mean,
like
it
I
is
was for
so
most
good.
of these things. on sniping.
And this gun right here, the HDR.
folks,
Oh my
they
god.
let you snipe again.
Ugh.
The velocity is crazy. I'm hitting like 200,
Yeah,
300
we're going to be
meter
using this
snipes.
gun. This gun's
Even just
so
the
good.
fact that we have these line of sights available, it's because of the map and how this was designed. But crazy velocity, insane that it is always one-shot headshot, unless it's a wall bang from far away. But, you know, it's potential,
Nice.
but it can hit that one tap even from far if you can hit it. They didn't make it to our ADS time. Still feels very good as well. I used the OG Grau for the majority of the day, which is a SWAT conversion kit for another, you know, it's a different gun. It's not its own standalone one. I'm fine with that. If it plays good enough like it, we have the attachment options. Great. There's one less gun that I had to level up. AMAX felt good. Kilo felt good. They look good. A lot of people were saying, oh, it doesn't feel the same as what it did. And I don't think it ever can because it also doesn't have the movement. It doesn't have the same systems that were back in the original Warzone. But I think it still fits into this game. Most of these guns are still essentially the same thing. There's only so many different ways that you can tweak the rate of fire for the recoil.
Yeah, I'd actually have to say I thought that the HDR, I didn't think that it was going to feel like it does, but it feels pretty close to like what it did. And that one-shot snipe, oh man, does it feel good.
The damage per
Damn,
bullet
does it feel good.
Makes me the most excited. I mean, heck, I'm a dude still playing mouse and keyboard on this
Karma,
controller
this is
game,
Stoned
right? The thing that
Mountain
makes it
64,
feel so
Karma.
good for me though is that sniping. That's why
He's a great
I'm very
YouTuber,
excited
and he's
to
a
have
streamer.
that. I hope they do that with the SPX, which is kind of the SPR that's already in the game. Bring that thing up for a little run. They still have so many other guns in the game, like the Vel, which is the MP7. That could be brought into the meta again without actually having to make another gun. It's essentially the same gun anyways, you know? But they can add pretty much all the guns they want. I would rather have more content on the map. I'm sure they're going to add the underground subway system at some point. They already said they're going to be adding the top level train with the intel missions for the season reload. They'll go through some of the stages there. I would love to see them continue to develop the map and even take this in a different direction. And it's already promising seeing how much is in there. In fact, they added private matches a couple hours after the launch today, so we can run some YOLO solos. We might have
That's
some
actually
crazy
good.
content on it.
I'm actually surprised they added that
the
because I swear it takes them like till season reload to add like private matches, and then even when they do, it doesn't work. It doesn't work right. There's always like functions that are not there on launch. Like they just do us dirty.
And the servers.
They really
had
do.
A very solid first 5-6 hours while probably most people were still at work. That evening, everything started to go downhill. We had disconnect, reconnect features not working. Honestly, I expected this right out of the gate. I was surprised we had so many hours of clean gameplay before this all broke. Then BattleNet was shutting down. I don't know if these were just natural server problems.
This is what happened to
DDoS
me.
attacks. We've seen a lot of that.
That was on the day
Blizzard.
one. I just kept getting this connecting. That kind of sucked, but I was liking it. I wanted to play so bad.
Systems in particular with
I actually
World of
shut my
Warcraft,
stream off early because I
especially
couldn't get
recently.
back on.
But their servers also just apparently are 20 tick hertz servers versus what's rumored to be coming for Battlefield's Battle Royale coming at the end of the year, which is going to have 60 hertz. We'll see if any of that's true. But I'd love to see some good competition there that forces them.
We
to
need
start
Battlefield to go well. We need it to go well.
Game was running very good
Because if Battlefield does good, then that pushes Call of Duty, and it continues for them to bring updates like this. But if they don't have any competition, man, they could just keep pulling the plug and keep doing crap that they've been doing.
I'm probably still going to tinker with
Telling
some
you,
of my
man,
settings,
they're
see if I
dirty.
can get it to look
Activision's
a little
dirty.
nicer, because a lot of the shadows and far away, it did look a little weird, although the map used to
Dude,
look
these
like
safes,
Play-Doh
man,
back
have
in the
nothing
day.
in
You're
it.
Sniping half the time. I think one of the biggest
There
concerns
are no safes?
that people have about this game as a whole, though, is the state of cheating. And they actually put a great report out. I say great, but they put out information from Ricochet, their anti-cheat system. And the most notable thing that I saw from it was that 60% of all of the reports were players reporting cheats on console players, which, if you don't know, the majority of the cheaters are on PC, not on console. That aim assist on console is just looking like cheats.
Yeah.
Turns out it's just aim assist,
That's
guys.
one difference. Like when I moved from the PlayStation to the PC, my aim assist went down. I could feel it for sure. So like you get more aim assist on PlayStation.
They're trying to tell
No
you
question.
is that it's a skill issue. You suck. Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't really run into any cheaters today. Nothing that was super blatant, at least, that I recognized. And it at least definitely wasn't as bad if you remember the OG Verdansk days when I don't even think there was originally an anti-cheat. People were literally flying around with cars, blatant aimbot
I remember
kills
that
across the map. I haven't seen one of those in a while. We used to run some hacked or cracked episodes that were wild back in the day. But I think it's more of a cultural problem for the game in that it was rampant for so long that now that is just the culture and the default that everybody's cheating. The number of times that I'm told I'm a cheater every day is ridiculous, especially because I don't even really play
and do
that
you
much.
blame anybody like in the
literally
community?
10 hours.
Like, you can't blame anybody because like Call of Duty just lets these cheats go on and on and on and get worse and worse. I mean, and like the aim assist is so strong in here, you just don't know who's cheating. You truly don't know. And I don't blame people why they just think everybody's cheating.
Unstoppable. As a whole, I really thought that this was going to be just Black Ops 6 Warzone.
I thought it was going to be crap. I truly did.
And in many ways, that is true. But they went way more back to that original state of Warzone.
I'm actually surprised it's actually good.
I've got
what a shot.
Plates total with an 8-plate satchel that I can pick up, and I'm running around stressed out of my mind for plates and trying to think strategically on positioning and early rotations for the zone. Concerned that once my gulag is gone, I'm not going to be able to get that back. I got to really strategize here. Like, I haven't felt like that in Warzone in a very long time. And if you think this is bad, because, you know, you've been used to and maybe only started playing Warzone in the last couple of years, when this first came out, they didn't even have plate boxes. They didn't even have satchels. Like,
that's
the
true.
plate struggle was way, way harder. So they've kind of found more of a middle ground between these versions. I'd love to see them take shock sticks out, all the equipment. I, in fact, thought that was the case. I thought these were being removed based on reading the initial blog post that they did. I think that's just a sunk cost. Just remove it.
I think they did because the first
equipment.
Well, the first blog post they said that, and then they came back with like the actual thing, and it was in there. I'm pretty sure that's why he thought that. Because I thought the same thing, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Nope, it's in here," and I'm like, "Wait, what the hell?" So they reverted on a couple things.
Is great to have.
Like right at the last second before they dropped this.
Game a lot, but
not. It's not like game breaking.
LTMs,
but
some fun Easter eggs, some fun events. Not just running around collecting some coins. Oof. The safes are kind of cool, actually, but that's only in perspective with what we had for the St. Paddy's Day event. We do have one confirmed fun LTM that is coming. I think it's something they never leaned into even enough back in the day.
They didn't.
But of course, we still ran into a lot of issues. And even on the bug side, I expected way more bugs. In fact, I was running a bingo card.
I don't ever remember birds, but that's funny.
Ridiculously long list that we have of all the bugs that occur every single time a new update comes out. We ran into a lot of them today, but I already anticipated that, and it's probably going to take them a season or two to repair some of those issues. I'm glad they at least did a couple weeks delay.
Season or two. That right there is the problem. He's like a season or two. It should be like a half a season. That's it. But we're just so programmed to think that like, oh, it should just be a couple seasons. They should fix it. No, they should fix it in a half a season, mid-season, like a couple weeks. Not even. They should fix it overnight. Or at least a couple days. Like, I don't get it.
Black Ops 6, because I can only imagine what this game looked like at that point if it's in the state that it's in now, especially now with the servers and the game that wasn't even working. I had to get off for the day because it just stopped working. But we'll see where we take it from there. And if they decide to commit back to doing content for Big Map and making a battle royale again, and does that mean that the Resurgence audience is now going to get left behind? It's their turn to be out with content for the next year and a half? Or is this just the update we're going to get here and Resurgence is going to go back to getting most of the content? Have they built up the teams and the systems to develop for all of it at once again? Are we going to see a standalone Warzone, which I still think is a much more ideal move? Let us have multiple maps while keeping these other ones. Sure, still integrate stuff from other Call of Duties and take the inspiration, whatever that you do, but we could build off of something. Realistically, I would say don't expect that. We've seen this long enough. That's not been the case. I don't think it will begin to be the case here. That's one of the reasons I think a lot of people have such a negative impression with the game as a whole.
I don't blame anybody having a negative impression.
They eventually come back when it's back to their turn.
And honestly, if there's people that are not coming back to this game, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
Like once they had jetpacks and double
jetpacks are coming, wall running.
Might come back, and I might be saying adios at that point.
Let's go.
Nonetheless, those are some of my initial impressions, thoughts.
Yeah, Stone Mountain, he's a goat.
Was there anything big I've even talked about on stream? Come stop by my streams live every weekday. And as always, let me know what you think. I'm going to go through all of...
Go check out Stone Mountain 64. I am going to put his link into my description of this video. He's an absolute legend. I watch his streams like every day. He was having fun today. He had the ghillie suit on today. He was live streaming with the ghillie suit on, dude. He had it all over his fit, dude. It was just like, you could tell people are having fun. Like, that's all it is, man. You just gotta bring that fun back, which, I don't know, for some reason, Activision loves to just suck that out. They say the developers, but let's just keep it real. The developers are not the ones that make these big, high decisions. They just don't. And I think that Activision's getting a wake-up call. And finally, they're coming back to their senses and bringing us actually a decent BR that works. Audio. Who would have known? Who would have known?